This video is a very casual video. We're going to get to this finished scene in Unity from here, an empty slate, a blank scene, and we're going to do it in real time. That means you're going to see me figure things out as I figure them out. This is the workflow. Sometimes I have to spend time away from virtual production because the day job of doing traditional video production demands my time and attention. But today, for you and I, we're doing the passion projects. We're working on the fun stuff. So let's dive in without any further ado. Just keep in mind, this is all happening in real time. So it's not going to be super polished. It's not meant to be. This is a work session, and you're invited to sit in and accompany me on this journey. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. And let's dive in right now. I am going to be utilizing a Hangar asset pack. So I will not be modeling anything from scratch. So let's just kind of zoom out. I'm going to begin with a floor. So I have right here a floor. Bring this into the scene, and I'm going to duplicate this. And I'm going to use vertex snapping. So I'm going to get myself into the practice of moving things along with the V key. That way everything just sails smoothly. And I don't know how many I will want, but I'll give myself 4. So Command V to duplicate, and V and a move to get them all aligned. I'm going to select all of these floor planes, and I'm going to place them into an empty parent, and I will call this floor column 1. And now I'm just going to duplicate this. So I have 2 now. And again with the V key, just going to slide it over. Now I have 2, and together I have my floor. So I'll place this into an empty parent. Floor. Nice. That's done. Looks like I have hangars parts 1 through 5. Let's take a look and see what they are. We'll start with hangar 1. I will focus this, and it's an end cap with a closed door. I think I would like an open door. So let's see if that's 2. That is a buttress in the center. That is a centerpiece. Let's look at 5. 5 looks to be an end cap here in our preview over here with an open door. That's what I want. So that is what I will give myself. Okay, very nice. Let's go with, so the second piece has a skylight. The third piece does not have a skylight, and the fourth piece is a divider or a flat end cap without a door. I'm going to give myself a hangar with a sunroof. I'll probably alternate between sunroof and no sunroof. Place this into the scene, and I'm going to also use my V key to vertex snap. Let's really dive in and see how close that takes us, because there are a few vertices that are very close, but not identical. So we can see that this is not perfect. Bring this in. All right. There we go. Looks good. Let's repeat that process. And I will probably up my vertex snapping skills as we go along. That's what today is all about. We're leveling up. And we're just reminding ourselves because sometimes, man, I have to work on so many other projects. A lot of them are traditional video based that I spend more time away from virtual production than I would care to. And sometimes I just like to remind myself what it is I am doing and what I'm capable of. What is the best way of, which vertex is best for grabbing and snapping to, I cannot grab these end caps because they don't snap to the things that I want. Best to work from the outside? Oh, you know what? I believe it is. Better than inside. I think that the outside will give me. Yep. Okay. Sometimes you just have to examine the model you're working with and adapt. So I will work from the outside in rather than the inside out. So grab another piece of, this is a hanger with a sunroof, and I'm going to snap this into place. Yep, perfect. All right. That workflow is now locked in. Good, good, good. Yep, let's do another. We do not want a sunroof. So grab my vertex. Let's really get in there and double check. That seemed to have gone in so easily that I want to know. Did I nail it or am I off? Ah, yeah, nice. All right. Sometimes when things go so easy, I wonder, did it really? Did it really go so easily? Let's place, do I want an open door or a closed door? I'm going to go with let's go with a closed door. Drag this into place. I'm going to need to rotate this one around. Yes. So I'll open up its transform and rotate it 180 on the Y. And then move her around. Let's snap into place like a Lego. Let's also get the entire hanger onto the floor. So I'm going to take all of my hanger parts and I'm going to place them in an empty parent, and I will call this hanger. I'm going to duplicate one of my floor columns. I'm going to make it 3 wide as opposed to 2. Here we go, and I'll move the hanger into the center. Right. Let's go ahead and fly into our hanger, and here we are. So, oh, I can see that some glass. It looks like one of the hanger pieces with the sunroof has a material missing. We can see that either this pink glass is not assigned, or let's dive in. Nope, I was correct. It is missing. It could have been created in another render pipeline, like universal render pipeline, etc., and that would make it pink. Or under materials, we can see that we have sheet metal, we have metals for trim, but our glass is missing. So I will find my glass. There's glass, slot it in. All right. Now we can see that fixed one, but it didn't fix the other. So I could do this for each one, or the more efficient way, if I undo this, let's go back into, let's find the prefabs, and which one? Okay, it's the two. So I will go into the prefab here, and I will select, here's missing, perfect, glass. So if I add this to the prefab, it will now be corrected across all instances of my scene or multiple scenes. Very handy if we were creating a very large world. We would not want to have to do that one by one. So let's not. Let's work efficiently and smart. All right, so you know what? Just for good practice, I'm going to throw in a human scale reference, which is part of my virtual production toolkit. So I have human scale references. There's a person. Let's also throw in, here's a person. Let's rotate this person. Very nice. Let's start on the should we continue building out the scene? You know what? Let's build out the scene and then place then we'll work on our visual fidelity. I've got a UFO in here somewhere. There we go. Let's place this in here. There's one. Let's duplicate. Let's keep our scene clean. So I'm going to grab these two and empty parent. Human scale references. There's a UFO. It's a big hangar. Let's have multiple UFOs. All right. And I am a fan of, well, before I move on, let's UFOs. I'm going to close these out because these are part of an older scene. We're not using these. So we'll call this obsolete. Oh, do not autocorrect me. All right, so those are gone. Let's look at, all right. I'm going to place a 3D object. I'm going to select a sphere. And this sphere has a basic HDRP material. So all of these hanger pieces, you know, these use HDRP as well. If I scroll down into, yep, HDRP lit. Everything is using HDRP lit, but this is literally Unity's default material. Sometimes that's just a very clean, very simple way for me to gauge effects of global illumination and reflection and such. So I'm going to grab my camera. I'm going to navigate. Let's place the camera here. Move it more here. All right, so let's go ahead and work on the visual fidelity. That's really why we're here. We have a scene. We built a scene. Look how quickly we built a scene. And of course, if we're working with virtual production, these human stand-ins are wonderful because they allow us to see, well, okay, let's block our scene. Let's create our storyboard. Maybe we're going to create an over-the-shoulder shot like such, and then we can place a camera marker. We can come over here and we can place a camera marker. How would we place a camera marker? Well, I'm a big fan of using the Jet Set app, which is a motion tracking application that works with high-end production cameras and standalone in the iPhone. So we're not getting into that today, but how would I do this? Well, a way that I like to do it, I have created for myself a Jet Set scene locator prefab. I'm going to place it as a child object of this male stand-in, which means that if I zero out the location, it will be planted right at his feet. And I will call this let's see, I'll dive in, I'll find my scene locator, and I will name this OTS, which is over the shoulder, man. And I'll do the same for our female. I will drag a Jet Set scene locator and place this in. And I will call this woman. We could have non-binary in there. We could have anyone. We could do whatever we want because it is our scene. I'm going to zero out the location to place the locator at her feet. Now, in the Jet Set app, what's great is I could simply choose these markers in the app, and it would automatically orient this scene into this position. So I could have a stand-in character, such as this character here, and then I could film a live actor over here speaking, and then I could rotate around and do the same from this end. So I could have this stand-in speaking to this OTS as a stand-in for my framing composition as I film the real live performer on this end. So I can have two actors speaking together, framed correctly, framed perfectly, pixel perfect, and they could be recorded weeks and months apart and in different parts of the world. That's really great. But let's get back to the meat of why we are here. I just threw those in because I like to walk through my complete workflow. Let's create a volume, and let's create a sky and fog volume. We also need a directional light. You can see our scene went entirely dark, so I will add a directional light. There it is. I'm going to rotate this light around. Delete it because I renamed it accidentally. All right. Let's place it right there. The sun's coming through that window, or would I rather it coming through a skylight? Let's warm up that light, evening light. And right now it's illuminating everything, but we only want the light to come through the windows. I'm going to scroll down under shadow map for this light. There we are. And also let's enable the contact shadows. We will get into more shadow work. Easter egg for you Carl Jung fans. We'll get into more shadow work when we get into the post-processing. Let's look at our fog. Fog is enabled. I'm going to enable all of these, and I'm going to bring the fog attenuation distance. This is 400 means the fog doesn't appear until it's really off into the distance. 4 brings it all the way close to the camera. Let's see what 40 gives us. Yeah, a little bit of atmospheric haze. That's all right. I kind of really liked that light just coming in through that back, though. Know what I mean? Let's find the right spot for the light. Things always look better when they are backlit. And since we are in a virtual world, we can backlight at any time of day from any orientation, and that is wonderful. I would like to see more atmospheric rays, so under the light I can increase the volumetric multiplier. So if I turn atmospherics off, then this light will not affect the fog. With the light volumetric effect enabled, it will affect the fog, and I can increase that to ridiculous effect. So I'm going to take it too high until I dial in where I want that light to come from. There we go. That's better. Yeah, I like that, because what I was looking for was some sort of light play on the ground, because I want everything to create shadows. I want shadows to rake across my scene. I do want to see light rays coming through. However, to get this optimum position, I don't see that beautiful light in the sky. So here's a trick that I like to do. I'm going to create a second directional light. I'm going to simply duplicate this, but you'll notice right here at the bottom, we get an error that tells us right away that you can only have one directional light casting shadows at a time. That's fine. That's perfect. Here's the secret to the trick. On our second directional light, we're turning the shadow map off. We're also going to bring the intensity way down, because we don't really want the light of the sun. We just want to see its angular diameter. I'm going to dial this way up, and then I'm going to move this sun around until I'm going to dial the intensity up too. So there's our sun right here. Angular diameter creates, how large do we want our sun to be? So there's this flare size. We can create large and small flares. I'm going to go with small angular diameter and a very large flare size. I mean, not very large, but large-ish. And create what it is that I am looking for. Okay, great. I'm going to turn off volumetrics, and now let me spin around with the intensity. I want just enough intensity for the disk of the sun to appear, but not so much as to actually illuminate the scene. If I go somewhere in the middle, we can see that I get, at very low values, I can see the disk of the sun. If I increase just enough to get the brightness, I will also, right here in the floor, we will see that I get a flare. Yeah, right about there. And now if we A-B this directional light, we can see that it really doesn't affect the overall lighting of our scene. It simply adds a hot spot on the ground and in the sky. That's pretty great. So I'm going to position this light where I might want it. What am I thinking? Maybe. Let's play around, because that's the beautiful thing about virtual production. We can literally create exactly what we think we would want to see. You know, I'm thinking I might want to create an open door on that back end of the hangar. So we definitely want, where do I want my light flare? I guess you definitely want the light flare in the same position as, same direction as the atmospheric rays, because that it would not make sense otherwise. Let's do this. Let's name these sun. What do I want to call this? Let's call this physical sun. Physical and sunlight. I will parent these as sun. Now you do not need to do two suns. You can do one. You can keep it so simple. I'm just, maybe I was being picky. I wanted my cake and I wanted to eat it too. So let's clear these errors because they no longer apply, because I turned off the shadow map for the second light. So we're kosher, we're good, we're great, we're brilliant. Now let's get into, let's keep our scene organized. I'm going to grab my sky and fog global volume and the sun, and I'm going to create a new parent. Call this atmosphere and lighting. Yes, yes, yes. Place this here. Within atmosphere and lighting, I'm going to create another volume, this time a global volume, and I will name this post processing volume. Now every volume is blank by default. We need a new volume profile. When we click new, it will place the volume profile in the same folder as our scene. Scene. Let's find example scene. Right here within Hangar HQ scene. There we are. I'm going to, let's create a folder. This doesn't need to be done. I'm just doing it to show how things are organized. I'll call this my hangar scene. And in this, actually, I'm going to give it a name. It's beginning with an underscore, which shoots it to the top of the folder list. Brilliant, brilliant. Although, because I don't know where that landed, I'm going to place this here. And now, my hangar scene, grab example scene, place in here. So now in this folder, If I go to my post-processing volume, create new volume profile. Oh, there we are. Well, okay, it placed it in the example scene. I'm just gonna, oh, okay, my bad. The example scene has an example scene folder. This is where all of the information goes. So this was created inside of here, like that. So currently the volume profile contains no overrides. Let us add some. Uh, First things first, I like exposure and global illumination. So exposure first, I'm going to activate all. Wow, we're blown out. So I'm going to dial this down until it looks really, really good. All right. I'm going to zoom in just a tad. And I'm going to move the global profile processing volume because the gizmo is in my way and it was just a little distracting. Let's add another override and I'm going to search for global illumination. Screen space global illumination. There it is. Now, I am utilizing, every Unity version is a little different. If you're accustomed to Unity, you know this. If you are not accustomed to Unity, it is something that happens. So I am, at the time of this creation, Unity 6, the new flagship, the Starship Enterprise of Unity is out. I am still utilizing Unity 2023. I am doing this because many of the packages that I rely on for a smooth, frictionless workflow, they have not been ported to Unity 6 as of yet, and the ones that have are still going through their rapid deployment of bug fixes. I just need things that work. So I mention this because in screen space global illumination, when I activate all, and you would think that you would also want to transform the state of global illumination from disabled to enabled. But for some reason, that's not the case. You want it disabled. So as long as everything is on, we can turn our volume, our quality to high. As long as it's on, we can A/B test. So there's without global illumination. Here is with global illumination. You can see the difference really well in the background. You can see it on the characters as well. This will become even more pronounced as we add more overrides. Ambient occlusion. This creates a lot of beautiful shadows where corners meet corners and objects meet other objects. So I'll activate all of the settings. You can activate only the settings you want. I'm going to activate all, and by default, intensity is at 0. So as I A/B and test, you'll see absolutely really no change other than maybe places like here. You can see a change in the character's legs, but we are going to intensify this. I like to take it too far and then dial it back just to see where things are happening, and then bring it down to taste and accuracy. Take this high. Let's go with shadows. We'll activate the shadows. Great. Let's activate contact shadows. Oops. Contact shadows, though, we do want to enable. There's only that weird bug on global illumination where it's actually on when it's disabled. It's not true for other components. Let's also do micro shadows. Beautiful. And I'm going to throw in a little bit of chromatic aberration and take the intensity from 0 to way too much and bring it down. Chromatic aberration, as you can see, it's you get the prism effect of light through a lens occurring around the periphery of your frame. Too much is wild. Just the tiniest bit can really help sell the idea of an actual lens. I already know that I do not like the lighting of this scene, so that is going to be adjusted. Once we finish this, let's go with color adjustments. I'm going to primarily only focus on contrast and saturation. Bring the saturation down a tad, not too much. Take contrast up a tiny bit. All right. Let's fix that lighting that I'm not such a big fan of. Simplify things. Focus on just one light at a time. Let's see. I did demonstrate the 2 light solution. That's handy for some things. I am going to see if I cannot simplify and do it with 1. First things first, I'm going to take the angular diameter. I'm going to dial this up. We can see that changing the angular diameter does have an effect on our shadows. Look at the shadows right here on the floor. So a large sun, soft shadows. And a small angular diameter, harsher shadows. All right. Let's bring that sun flare size up. And I'm going to rotate this. You know what? Before I rotate the sun, I'm going to replace this end cap. I'm going to copy its transform. Copy its world transform. I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to replace it with an open-ended. So place this here. I'm going to paste its world transform. So it should just exist where the last, basically where the last one was. Let's see what this gives us as we go back into our hangar. Grab my lights. And bring down the angular diameter. Oh, maybe not. What's the flare size? The flare size is huge. Small, and let's dial it down in background. All right. So let's say that we are creating our scene and we want to, I'm going to move my camera into this new position with Shift Command F. Let's say that we want to move our sphere and our stand-in actors all at once. So this whole hangar is a scene. That is true. I'm going to place this end cap into our hanger. And I'm going to grab the sphere and the human scale references. I'm going to place them into a new empty parent. This is actually the scene. The scene is happening. Think of the hangar as our location, but the orb and our two actors as the scene. So I can call this scenario conversation. And now I can move them together. So I can reframe things, place them wherever I might want them to be. We need, the environment looks okay, but we could benefit from a reflection probe. That's really going to help sell things. So within the atmosphere and lighting, I'm going to select lights, reflection probe, and I'm going to create this so that it is quite large. Now, I'm not large, but it's going to cover the entire hangar. Currently, it is just, you can see the bounding box of the reflection probe. It's just living inside of the hangar. Is this beautiful? Let's make sure that we are vertically doing the correct thing as well. We can see that we need to go above the hangar, and we are beneath it, so that's great. You're seeing wild things happen on screen. That is a 2023 Unity thing that only occurs on reflection probes while the modifying base shape is active and you are scrolling over the scene view. You can see that it does not persist. It's not something that is in your way or creates problems when working with reflection probes. It only exists when the mouse is over the scene viewport while the modify base shape, which is the bounding box, is activated. So the reflection probe is doing nothing at the moment, and that is because we need to scroll to the bottom and bake it. So I'm going to click bake. Ooh, nice. All right. So let's A/B test it, and we can do so by turning it on and off. And very nice. You can really see, if we look at this wall right here where my mouse is, this is no reflection probe, and this is with reflection probe. You can see how things get darker. Things have a bit more texture to them. So I'm going to delete the second sun. Feeling a bit orange for my tastes. And let's play with the intensity of things. Go wild. Okay. I'm going to take my sphere. I'm going to remove it from the scene. I'm going to duplicate a spacecraft and bring it to the forefront. And I'm going to scale it down. Maybe it's a prototype. Maybe it's a model. Maybe it's a drone. Maybe it's, man, it's just that thing. I'm going to move the actor. Dun, 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 dun. Nope, don't like it. Don't like it. So it goes away. All right. Let's close these things. There is a scene with no atmosphere. HDRP looks pretty good. It looks pretty good even like this. But it gets really nice when we add in little bits. Still not thrilled with the lighting. I feel let's dip into the sky and fog volume. And under physically based sky, we have the option to utilize a space emission texture. I'm going to apply one because things are looking a little flat, a little strange. I'm going to talk through what a space emission texture does. First things first, in my scene, in my Hangar scene folder, I'm going to go to my computer's downloads and locate and simply drag into my project window an EXR file, 2K resolution. It imports as a 2D texture. To utilize this as a HDRI sky or a space emission texture, we need to convert this to a cube map, which we do simply by selecting cube and scrolling to apply. All right. So now that it's a cube map, we can see that in the project view, we even have this little unfolded cube map icon to let us know it has successfully been converted. So under physically based sky, I'm going to activate space emission texture and space emission multiplier. I will slot in my space emission. We see that it really hasn't done anything. That is because the effect is far too weak. We can increase the effect on our scene by increasing the multiplier. I'm just going to choose randomly a really large number. Now I'm going to bring down the sun. If we step outside, we can see mountains and stars in the distance. That is our space emission texture. And our multiplier, if I reduce it from 5,000 to 5, we can see that there's really no effect. And now there is. Our fog is doing a lot, so I'm turning that off for now. So we can see, here's a view of both our hangar and our space emission texture. You can see the difference, the effect that is created on our scene geometry by the space emission texture. You see it in the shadows, you see it in the bounce. You see the whole hangar goes much darker without the space emission texture. Let's dive in. Let's come inside. Are there any other? That's primarily the one I want to work with. Let me see what ridiculous numbers do. That looks pretty good. Sometimes I just like to turn global illumination off and on. Global illumination is so fascinating to me. I don't know why. It's such a really cool 3D feature. It's really remarkable. Let's go into our fog. And I've got this at 40. What if I choose 100? And what if I choose 70, 60, 40? I'm just inspecting stuff. Actually, I'm just kind of, to be completely honest, because I'm just exploring around, now's a very good time just to point out that I've actually committed a cardinal sin. What is that, you might ask? Well, you might notice that because I'm just playing around with things, I'm going back and forth a lot between changing lighting, changing the scene. And that's a surefire way to find yourself going in circles. You don't want to do that. You want to block, rehearse, and then light. You want to see what the scene is. And then get into dialing things in. Otherwise, you spend a lot of time dialing in and then changing because you don't like something. You don't want to do that on an actual set. You don't want to do that on an actual project. You will find yourself going crazy. So, just pointing that out. I'm going to, with that said, let's think about actually making a scene. Let's do this the right way. Um, let's say I want to rake across. I don't mind looking out the back of this hangar, but I don't want to be too close to the front because then I would need to set dress over here. So, and really, honestly, what has been completed is already the goal of things. I just wanted to work in that global illumination and the lighting fidelity of things. But while I am here, I'm going to place the main camera in this position. This model will be our foreground. I'm going to drag the game view here so we always see what our composition is going to be. All right, I'm going to now grab, I'm going to duplicate I'm imagining a few of these as, let's say this guy, I'm imagining that he's got a white lab coat and a clipboard. And I'm going to say that he's got a buddy. And mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm. I want, where's our light? Where are our windows? Mm, I want more set dressing, to be honest. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go back to the thing that I really liked in the beginning. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you explore around and then you go back to something that you discovered early on. I'm going to turn this off real quick. I like the shadow and light play on the floor. I do, I do, I do. And I do like flare, but we don't need so much flare. Just bring the flare down. Bring the flare down. What's the right amount of flare? You know, let's grab our lens flares because I've imported some lens flares. Let's go down to on the sun. I'm going to add a component of lens flare, SRP. What lens flare will I utilize? Let's scroll through them and see which one we like. That one is pretty. I could dial down. Oh, and it's also called sci-fi. I can dial down the effect to make it less. This also is not bad. Ah, that's pretty great. Oh, those last two are beautiful. Oh, wow. Sun glare though, man. Oh, look. Oh, do I want sun glare? Sun glare with ring or sci-fi? I think it's going to be one of the glares. I do. Let's bring down the intensity here and see. Because that's not bad. All right. So I've done this. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. I'm going back to my two sun system. The reason I like that. The sun is, it does make her look like her arm is, that's, ooh. So I'm going back to my two sun system because I want this light pattern on the floor. I might have a problem though. Let's find out. I'm going to cheat. Sun. I'm going to duplicate the sun. Of course, we need to turn off the lens flare. We can get rid of the component entirely. And we turn off the shadow map. We don't want to affect the volumetrics. We only want one of our lights doing that. Actually, we might want it to be this one. We'll turn volumetrics off of this light. Okay. Oh, I've done it backwards. It happens. I want the I want the shadow map not on my sun flare, and I want the intensity way down for now. And I want the shadow map on because you are going to create the pattern on the floor. And I think it's this pattern. Yep, this has more buttresses. So it's more interesting in the shadows. All right, we'll need to be so heavy on the God rays. This is sunlight. This is sun flare. All right. All right. All right. All right. Get rid of the guy in the background. He's not necessary. It's all right. Don't feel bad about it. He was just an extra anyway. Well, it's not going to be an issue for me, but you see how the sun flare still comes through the ship in the back? That can be eliminated by selecting the light with the sun flare and choosing occlusion, enable, and now it's if I turn off our model and I turn off, you can see there's a hint of it back there. So if I bring it down into view, You can see it now is occluded behind things. I am curious about something. In a finished scene, that would be kind of a decent effect of just kind of like mildly hovering. All right, let's. I need a. Okay, let's post processing vignette. Turn everything on. Go way too much. Then bring down until acceptable. And I could, if I so desired, add specialty lights. So let's call these volumes. Probes. I should actually probably also add lights, probe volume, and fit it to the current scene. We will bake that before long. I'm going to add area light. I'm going to align the area light to right here. I'm going to elongate it. And we will utilize change from lumen to EV. Take it up really high. Crazy high. And we will make it warm and also to angle it off of the floor. Not on that axis. Not on that axis, I won't. Wow. There we go. Let's change from global to local, and now we won't have such a problem. All right. So basically we feathered that light. It's hitting our actors, but it's not on the floor. So it looks like our sun is now lighting our actors a little more in a backlight, which looks quite nice. Color temperature is correct. Let's make the light on the floor just a little more pronounced. I can do this with the sun. I'm just wondering if maybe I should be cheating this with a spotlight through the sunroof. I mean, that is a thought that's in my brain at the moment. It is, it is, it is. Just going to cheat it back into the frame a little bit because it's obscuring what I want to be seeing. What if one is ready for a test flight? You know what? I bet let's add a little bit of light beneath this UFO. I think that'll really help things. So if I select the, oh, look at this hierarchy. It just goes and goes and goes. Oh my, it's deep. Deep. Let's find an emission texture. Oh, okay. I'm going to need to create. All right. All right. This is the one. Yeah, this is the one with the lights. So I need to duplicate this emission texture. Yes, I did. All right. So let's do that. There we go. And we'll select this. And we will apply our texture. But I'm also going to change this to the HDRP lit. And now I'm going to emission. There we go. We will use the emission and we will change this to EV. Take this way up. Yeah, that's high. It's so high. It's okay-ish. What color do we want? Yeah, green's all right. Green through orange. Let's. Yeah, it's not bad. Let me see it a little larger. Yeah. All right. Not a bad. I would do that. I would use this. Let's go atmosphere and lighting. If we turn this off, here's the scene just with the geometry. And let's give a moment for our global illumination and such to pop up, accumulate. I think something got stuck. Let's find out why. Let us investigate. You know what? I'm going to go into play mode. Something seems to be stuck. I think we can shake it loose. Hey, yep, we can. I thought we might shake it loose. But also, those sun rays, volumetrics, let's bring those down. We want them, but we don't want them so overbearing. Or over this. There we go. Some lights. Yeah, there we go. Cool. Wonderful. I will investigate as to why things seem to have gotten stuck when I was A/B testing. In fact, let's just. So anyway, here's our scene. I think that our UFO, if I select it and go down to our material, yep. I think I can bring down its emission. I like a little. We don't need a lot. It's really easy to go way overboard when you're first doing a thing. You gotta rein that in a bit. So sometimes it's much like writing a screenplay, writing a script, writing a novel, writing at all. Your first draft is It's only a first draft. You need to give it another pass. And sometimes it's really, really easy to go overboard in the beginning. But you know what? What's beautiful about too much in the beginning? You can rein it in, make it a little more sophisticated. Not bad. This looks good. I'm happy with this. Are you happy with this? Look at this. All right. Yeah. This would be a great scene. I like this scene. I would watch a dialogue scene of this. This looks great as is. You could even fill it out more with set dressing in the background if one wanted, but this is a believable thing. I like it. It's got beautiful sun flare, beautiful light, using the structure to create a light pattern, Cucaloris, along the ground. We have reflection and texture in the floor. Global illumination on our characters, on everything really. Spacecraft, especially on the hangar. Look at all this beautiful bouncing light that's coming in and then illuminating up and reflecting off of the metal. And of course, we've got our foreground characters giving us, breaking up our frame, but also, look at this, framing up our craft. So we've got leading lines, we've got people looking up, we've got people, action in the back, action in the far background, action in the midground, focus in the midground, but then we've got foreground elements creating a leading line. This gaze is going straight, raking over the scene, and then this character, obviously, ultimately in a finished scene, a character would not be standing with their arms straight out, but in this composition, nestled right between this Tetris piece of like a inverted L or a 7, we framed up our hero craft. This looks good. I dig it. Good exercise. Happy to have done it. I will do another. Not here in the same video, but in another video. So thank you for watching. If you like this, if you found this fun, interesting, helpful, give a like or subscribe. You don't have to. This is just an exercise for me, but if you found this helpful, well, it would be helpful for me. I just realized that I've gotten 1,200 views off of just 2 videos over the past week. Thank you for that. That's very kind and very generous of you. I'm humbled. I'm just above 500 subscribers, like 562, something like that. Thank you. So shall I aim for 1,000? What do you think? Shall we move in that direction? Might as well. I'm not going to make that the goal. The work is the goal. I want to create stories. I want to do fun and interesting things. But if people want to come along on the journey, I would love the company. So thank you. Like and subscribe if you care to do so. I will see you in the next video. See you later, friends.